Yo, what is good? I am exhausted today. I spent like 13, 14 hours at Disneyland yesterday, and I am definitely feeling that Disneyland hangover. But I'm back with another video for you and another quote. Let's get into it. This quote is pretty simple. It's, when history is forgotten, it's bound to repeat itself. I believe this is a Mark Twain quote, and my immediate interpretation of this quote is that throughout human history, there's always been a trend of humans making a bunch of choices and mistakes, not learning from those choices and mistakes, and then ultimately repeating those choices and mistakes. And there's a few examples of history repeating itself that come to mind, like the Great Depression and the Great Recession. This also reminds me of a Bible quote that goes, "What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun." Ecclesiastes 1:9. No idea is original and things repeat. For example, let's take it back 100 years to the 1920s. You probably thinking, what could be repeating itself from 100 years ago? Things were way different then, right? Well, not quite. In 1920, the world was still dealing with the Spanish flu pandemic, which killed close to 50 million people. And you look now in 2022, where we're still technically dealing with the pandemic. The 1920s also had protests and riots, male versus female, black versus white, rich versus poor. Words like communism and socialism and share the wealth were starting to become commonly used. By this time in the 1920s, Eugene Debs was a 5-time socialist candidate for the president. And you look now, you see young progressives resurrecting some of those share the wealth ideas that were tried 100 years ago. You hear the word socialism all the time now. People in the 20s were taken to the street to protest police violence against minorities, which brings about the Great Chicago Riot. This was a full-blown race war where 38 people were killed. You look at the 2020s where people are protesting and rioting in the street over what? Police violence against minorities. And there's plenty of other examples of history repeating itself from us not learning our lesson. But my favorite are the stories about resistance and rebellion groups overthrowing an oppressive force like the American Revolution and the French Revolution. Both involved oppressed people who just weren't going to take it no more, so they fought back. Only problem is the underlying dynamic between the powerful and the powerless being a common trend throughout history. Maybe we're overdue for another revolution. Thanks for watching.